This is video 16. We are in Ruth chapter 4, verses going to begin in verse 6 today. Now, so far in chapter 4, we've had Boaz going to the town gate of Bethlehem, and he is going to buy the field. He's going to talk to the near kinsman redeemer that is closer to Naomi than he is, and so he's going to talk to them at the town gate. He explains to the man so far in the first 5 verses of chapter 4, he explains to the man that Naomi's going to sell the land. He's the next in line to buy it. He's the kinsman redeemer. So if you're going to do it, do it. And so we're going to pick up in verse 5 and read it through and go on into verse 6. Then Boaz says, "Oh, by the way, on the day that you buy the land from Naomi and from Ruth the Moabitess, you acquire the dead man's widow in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property." Now, this means you're going to have to marry Ruth in order to have children to maintain the dead man's name, a child, with the property. And so in verse 6, at this, the kinsman redeemer says, well, if that's the case, then I cannot redeem it because I might endanger my own estate. My own kids, my wife and my own kids and my grandkids could be involved in some kind of legal matter with this land of Elimelech over here, this land of Mechalon, this land that Ruth and Naomi are selling. And by the way, she's a Moabitess. That's a no-no. Well, how does he know? Well, there's a scripture way back in the book of Deuteronomy that says no Moabite will enter the congregation of Israel to the 10th generation. And we're about the 7th or so generation down from those people. So we got a while to go yet. Okay, now he says, I can't do this because it might endanger my own estate. If we have kids, then there's going to be this big family fuss. I don't want to do that. And so there is an insert here, verse 7. It's in parentheses in my Bible, which means it's not in all Bibles. But the parentheses in verse 7 says, now in earlier times in Israel, for the redemption and transfer of property to become final, one party took off his sandal and gave it to the other. This was the method of legalizing transactions in Israel. Now, if he's got to buy the land back from somebody to redeem it, then he's actually going to have to shell out money to whoever still has that part of the land until the 50th year. Okay, but in order to, let's just say, money down for good thoughts or something like this, put some money on it, put something of value on it. You take off your shoe and give it to the one who you owe. And so this taking off of the sandal. Now, this is not the halitza. The halitza is a completely different thing. Okay, that has to do with the Levite marriage, the Levirate marriage and the brother saying my brother never existed and all of this. More on that one of these days. But this is, okay, this is my down payment. Here's my down payment. So the verse 8, so the kinsman redeemer said to Boaz, buy it yourself, and he removed his sandal. Then Boaz announced to the elders and all the people, today you're a witness. So what witness? The 10 people that he had to come over back there in verse 2, chapter 4, verse 2. He says, you are a witness that I have bought from Naomi all the property of, pardon me, all the property of who? Elimelech, Chilion, that's one of the sons, and Machlon. I have also acquired Ruth, the Moabitess, Machlon's widow, as my wife, in order to maintain the name of the dead with the property, so that his name will not disappear from among his family or from the town records. Today you are witnesses. So he reminds these 10 guys and all the people standing around watching, you're witnesses that this man has decided not to be the kinsman redeemer. I have decided to take and buy all of the land of Elimelech, Chilion, and Machlon, and I also take on Machlon's widow Ruth as my wife, and I intend to raise up children through Ruth, that Machlon's name will not be blotted out from among the records of the town people, that he actually does own this piece of property, and that his son will have this piece of property. And you're today my witnesses. Then the elders and all those at the gate said, yes, we witness this. It's just like signing your name. Yes, we'll witness this. We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming to your home like Rachel and Leah. Well, remember Rachel and Leah, who together built up the house of Israel. May you have a standing in Ephrath and be famous in Bethlehem. Through the offspring of the Lord, through the offspring the Lord gives you by this young woman, may your family be like that of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah. Now, we're mentioned here Rachel and Leah. When Jacob left his home and went to live with Uncle Laban, he fell in love with Rachel. On the night of, he had to work 7 years for her. On the night of the marriage, the daddy put Leah in there. They wake up the next morning, he sees that he's made love with Leah, not Rachel. He's very upset. He comes back later and tells his father-in-law, you tricked me. He says, well, you work for me for another 7 years. I'll let you have Rachel as a wife. He says, okay. So they got married too. So now he's married to 2 different guys, Jacob is. And each of them brought in 2 maidservants. And Jacob had 12 children. They built up Israel. That's what these men are saying. May that woman that is coming into your home build up the house of Israel. And may your standing be famous in Bethlehem. And so this is what we have. These guys are coming into these people are witnesses. They're making a declaration over this. They're blessing the marriage. They're saying, may your marriage to this woman be like the marriage of Jacob to Rachel and Leah. Also, through the offspring the Lord gives you by this young woman, may your family be like that of Perez, a very, very strong man that was born to Tamar. You'll find that in the book of Genesis also. Now, we're going to stop right there for this particular video, and we'll pick up in the next one at verse 13.